Good morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
Good,
We're good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I know you're on set for another film, so thank you so much for your time. And I know every moment that you spend on there is very, very valuable. So again, thank you.
Oh, of course, man. Thanks for having us.
So this morning, I am pleased to be joined by director Josh Tessier as well as actor William Katt. They are filmmaker, actor for the Strike Back Studios action thriller. I'd call it Overrun. Uh, First movie, correct? Directorial debut?
Yeah, I guess you can call it that. I've directed a lot of things, but this would be my first movie. Yeah. Done a lot of second unit. There's a lot of stunt guys. I guess it's the thing right now. Chad Stahelski, who did John Wick, and they had a little bit more money, obviously. But David Leitch, who did Deadpool 2, Scotty Wall, who did Acts of Valor. And we all fall in the footsteps of Hal Needham, who did Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah, So yeah, no, it's great.
So is your background in stunts?
It is. I've been a stuntman or stunt coordinator for the last 12 years, been a stuntman for about 20 years. And but like I own a post house too. Like I started diversifying, learning as much as I could about cameras and gear, and started owning as much gear as I could so I could be, have at least a conversation with people in a room and, know if what was what, at least have a proper conversation so I could be a better filmmaker, in every aspect of the way to do it. I love doing it. I love film,
What a phenomenal perspective, because now you can tell other people to jump. And then also you have an eye for it, for what people can do, should do, and what's possible in film.
Did you enjoy the film?
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Oh, good. Pacing was good.
Pacing was good. It kept us going, and it eventually got to a very, very cool moment where it all kind of comes together in this one area, and we're ready for a fight scene.
Yeah, no, it's good. The fights, I pride myself, my team prides myself. And I like to think of it not as like a single entity, as a single person, but as a team, treat people that want to be treated kind of thing. And people wanted to be there and they were happy. Like they weren't getting paid much. So like they were doing me a favor being there, just in general. So I just want to make sure everybody was having a good time. And the movie, I feel, reflects that. It's like there's a lot of heart inside the film. Is it the most complicated film? Absolutely not, but it's still a fun, tongue-in-cheek, just relax and enjoy it. There's a guy in Daisy Dukes and some guy gets blown up with a hat, so I think it's hilarious, and I think it's just fun. It's escapism at its best.
Yeah, movies don't need to be all complicated. Originally, I mean, they're for entertainment purposes.
That's
sure, you can use them for messages sometimes, but at the same time, let's have fun.
Yeah, that's what it is. But no, it's a good thing. And yes, I do come from the stunt background, and I do have an eye for it. All of my guys have an eye for it. I've known Bill. We met on a terrible movie years and years and years ago. And I remember there's this guy in his underwear with the bad alien mask eating me. I was an actor on it. And he comes up to me, he's like, "Oh, I think you're a pretty good actor." And we became friends. It was a terrible film. I felt bad for Bill, but then our friendship started growing, and now we're pretty much like family.
Yeah. Josh is actually not only stunt coordinating and second unit directing on this film, Pursuit, but he's actually acting in it and holding his own against John Cusack and Emil Hirsch.
Yeah, doing that. Yeah, no, it's fun. Whatever it is to get the movie done, to help out. There's another friend of ours who's doing this film, so anything that I can do, I'm not above anything. So it's like it makes you a better filmmaker, I think. It just makes you better. The more you do, the better you get. The harder it is, the more you learn on what not to do and how to, and then how to do things a little bit more smoothly on the next ones. So I think that, and then just pick your battles, So, but yeah, so I thought it's a lot of fun, man. I love it. I'm glad you enjoyed the film. I'm always, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, or someone's like, it's about, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, geez.
Well, there's always room for negativity, because nobody's making a perfect movie. That's
no, ever. I don't think there's ever been a perfect movie. People can say Citizen Kane, but not a perfect movie. I'm sure.
It's just really a matter of having fun, and you can tell that you guys had a good time making it. Bill, did you have fun in the film?
I had a lot of fun. I kept, I wanted to wear a dress, but he wouldn't let me.
Your character, Detective Ed Dobbs,
Yeah.
very, very interesting character because right off the bat, I'm a huge comic book guy, nerd, whatever. I said, that looks a lot like Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess there's some similarities there, but yeah, we had a lot of fun. Josh has been very good to me. We've been friends for an awful long time, and for some reason or another, he always, when it's available, he always has me do something in a film that he's involved with, whether it's a small role or sometimes a much larger role. But I seem to always end up doing something with Josh and his tribe of cohorts. He's a very loyal leader, and one of the things I want to point out, more so than his technical prowess and his skills as a stunt coordinator and a director and everything else he does as a producer, he's a wonderful storyteller, and I think that's overlooked a lot these days. He knows how to tell a story, and it's just fun for me to participate and be involved.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a testament. You guys are in the same room right now and doing this.
Yep.
Usually it's different cameras, but that's great. Friendships are always amazing. Yeah, I want to just piggyback off of Bill's comment of storytelling, because it might just seem like, yeah, this is just kind of a shoot 'em up film, but geez, there's so many aspects of it that you got to get right throughout the way in order to make everything have a meaning, and to not be there just for I guess for a view, for a kill sake per se. How challenging is it to put together a story like this where you really need to focus in on different characters at different moments and then bring them all together?
It's it's tough. I do prefer ensemble movies because I think that they help. Omid, who's starring in it, this is his first one as a lead man, and I wanted to help him as much as possible. So like I wanted to make sure that the movie could support that, right? Support him and his venture. And then, how do you make these characters interesting with not a lot of backstory? So it's like, I always looked at the movie Untouchables, The Man in the White. Didn't have a name, but he's the man in the white, and he's a bad guy and he has this thing. So you give people, colors and objects that they are associated with, kind of like in Raid Redemption and all that fun stuff. So therefore you can get it out of the way. So you're like, oh, that's that type of person. So therefore you don't have to go too far into it, and you can focus on the small bits of backstory that you do have to make these characters work and come together. Because it was a lot of work. We did a short in 2012 that this is loosely based on, because like Omid knew the character and could figure it out. So it's like trying to make that work. It was difficult. It took us a while to make it work because the script wasn't great when we were going to, but I knew what I was going to do, and I knew what we were going to do to fix it and make it streamlined for filming. It's like, and listen, Rob did a great job, and Victoria, who did a polish on it, and she's doing great things now. We were just trying to make the most sense out of the days and the money that we had, because we shot it in 15 days under,
Really?
Yeah, we did. It was a hard shoot. But like we only went overtime 3 times. Everybody was happy. We had a modest budget, very modest. So it's like, we just want to make sure that we got it. And, everybody seemed to be really thrilled. So I'm super excited for them to see it. I also just want to kind of look behind the curtain and go, I hope they enjoy it. I hope people don't hate it,
And
They won't.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say people will enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that through interviews like this, people can actually appreciate the hard work that you all put into this, because it's if there's something I really love about independent films, is the passion that gentlemen like you have, because you don't have the most money or the most time or resources, but you guys get it done, and you guys are able to put a cohesive film together for the world to see. That's just amazing. How do you plan something like that, knowing the vision that you want to create, especially in Overrun, in
you have to be
days?
Oh, I mean, you have to adapt. Like I'm very big on thinking ahead and foresight. And, we had certain locations that we already knew we had. So it's trying to work around those particular locations. So you're trying to like ring around the script on these locations and on the cast that you can only have for these many days. So it's like, and I storyboard everything. Like I have animatics for everything and all that fun stuff. And then I just adapt. For instance, there's the scene in the warehouse that was supposed to be outside. We didn't have an outside to shoot. So I said, well, we have a warehouse. Let's just move it in here. I'll dial in some dialogue and we'll make it work. And, obviously Bill helping me with it and hiring good cast to help me with their characters. And we can kind of go back and forth and, having Rob there, because Johnny Messner, who was in it, he had notes almost every day. So like having someone dedicated to like reworking and making it work for his character, but still making the movie make sense. It was a challenge, but like I live and love that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
It's
some of the more challenging days as an actor was working with Bruce Dern.
Oh,
who was,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as an actor, I mean, Bruce Dern, he's such an icon. I grew up with him, watching him as a bad guy in all these Westerns that he did early on in his career. And he's the guy who killed John Wayne, let us not forget.
He did. He did. One of like two guys who's gotten to kill John.
So, but it was fun working with him on the set because you had to allow that extra time, because not only is he a wonderful actor and so off the cuff, he never says the same thing twice. You never know what's coming out of his mouth. So you just have to be on your toes all the time. But along with that, when the camera is not running and shooting, he has the most marvelous stories that you hate to cut short.
I agree. I just was like, oh, I guess I'm just paying you to tell stories because this is incredible. He had some great stories about John Hurt, about a lot of like things that he's done.
Yeah.
But I will agree with Bill. If you do something in the scene and he picks up on it, he's going to start going that direction. Yeah. So you have to keep the thing. I mean, because like he's wonderful and he'll make it work. It'll be very organic, and he is wonderful on just like watching. Like he just has it. He doesn't have to. He just knows what he's doing. And so he does Bruce. He had some great stories about Tarantino, and I thought they were so fun because Tarantino, his scripts and stuff. And Bruce had told me that he let him be him. He didn't let anybody else, but Bruce Dern is Bruce Dern, and you hire Bruce Dern for a reason, because he has that levity that he brings to these type of things, and this kind of wildness, and he is off the cuff. But he still got it. He still got the juice. And I thought he was good in the movie. We didn't have him for a long time, and he's still sharp. That was a lot we shot with him in a day. So.
Oh wow, you had him for just a day?
I had him. I had the kid who played Augie, who's been a very dear friend of mine. Jack Griffo, I had him for a day. We shot all of his stuff.
And Tarantino, Nick
Turturro was there for 2 days. So it's like, I'm trying to figure out how to make all this work, still stream it together and not make it feel like it's an actor in a room, but they're still present,
Yeah.
It was that was a challenge, but it was great. I mean, it was great. I don't think you feel that. I think everybody feels like they're organically where they're supposed to be.
Wow, that's amazing. The fact that you're able to do all that on your first time, director, principal director. That's a really testament of how passionate you are about the project. That is so.
Oh, cool. Of course. Like any project I do, I always say 120%. My dad says you never stop paying your dues. So just keep paying them until you pay the ones that you want to pay.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So I'm curious, how did then, with so little time to shoot also, how do you prepare action sequences? Is this something that is rehearsed beforehand or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we had to come up with the fights a month or so before we were doing the movies and stuff. And usually you have that, but since that's where I come from, all my guys who are part of the film and helping produce it and all that fun stuff, they're all stunt guys too. So like we came up with it. Omid himself is a stunt guy, so I didn't have to double him, and he's a good actor, but it's really important that he has the skills, because you want to see the fights. Most times you see these things and, we have to put a double in, you have to go in tight, but it's like, I like to live. I like to, be as wide as possible so you can see all the action. And you enjoyed the fight scenes, right? I'm assuming the hallway fight was your favorite.
Mm-hmm. Those are great. And I was actually going to comment on that. The fact that it's one of the things that I really like about certain fight scenes, which make them more iconic to me, especially they do it better, I guess, in the East sometimes with classic martial arts film, is when you don't cut and it's a continuous shot and you're just enjoying the fight scene. You're in the moment and wow, they put in a lot of work to get this done.
Of course. And you got to realize these guys that are working on this film with Josh, that are good friends and come to give 110%. These are the guys that have worked on Tenet. They've worked on Marvel films, on DC films. These are the guys that are at the top of their game. You know,
they're great. Yeah, you know, they're great. The one of the second unit directors is very established. He did Tenet, Amazing Spider-Man. He's great. You know, he did really great in our film. He played the guy that I tied up in the freezer. He's gonna get me back.
Oh,
for that. He's gonna get me back for that. We've already talked about it. I'm gonna be doing some weird something in one of his movies. I'm waiting for that shoe to drop.
Oh, that's fun. That's so much fun. I mean, I'm really impressed, and I actually had no idea that you did have a stunt background, which makes it better because I watch a lot of videos on stunt coordinators, specifically one called like Corridor Crew, where they
yeah. Well, Guy was in our thing. I think he did like a Stuntman Reacts on that show. Guy de Silva Green.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's, you know, he was Black Panther at some point. He's actually doing now.
Okay.
As an actor, like he booked something. He has a fire in him.
That's right. He was the cop. Okay.
He was the cop. So everybody always asks me, it's like, why did he not fight? You're wasting that. I was like, Guy wants to be taken as a serious actor, and he still loves his fighting background, but like, you know, he didn't have a lot of time. So I offered him. He was originally going to play Phoenix, right? Who fights Omid. I was going to give him a couple more things to do. And I asked him, I said, do you want the acting role or do you want that role? He chose the cop, and I said, okay, because like he's been in a lot of things, and I've known him since he was a kid. You know, I helped him get started and all that fun stuff. You know, back then, obviously, he's had a wonderful career, and he's starting to really transition over because, you know, he has a couple things out right now. So I'm really proud of him. But yeah, you know, so there's a bunch of that. You know, Eric Linden, I know really well. I really like him too. That does the Stuntman React. I did actually a thing with him about fire burns on that show. So
cool. Yeah, that's phenomenal, man. I'm very, very happy I got to talk to you guys this morning. Overall, I know we talked about having fun. Anything else you hope audience take away from the film?
Anything I want people to take away from the film?
Yes.
I just want, I guess the thing is I just want people to enjoy it, just to know that. I mean, I think that's every director's thing, is that you want someone to enjoy the thing that you put out. But at the end of it, you know, I feel good about it. I feel good about, you know, there's a lot of people who did their firsts and they didn't come out great. And I felt like I was able to get it done, you know what I mean? And at a fairly high level. And so moving on from here, I can continue that style, and people can always go back and go, did you see that first one? It's like Joe Carnahan. I don't know if anybody ever saw his first movie that he ever did, but then, you know, obviously you got Smoking Aces and all that fun stuff. Same with, you know, James Cameron, who did Piranha 2, you know, Steven Spielberg, who I still love, Duel. It wasn't his first movie, but it was the one that kind of got him into Jaws, and, you know, the luck that he had there. I think it's all about luck. But to take away from the film is, you know, it's kind of a lighter version because it's very tongue in cheek. Like I like guide the line, right? It's the tone of the movie is kind of like guiding of comedy, action, and, you know, there are some silly things in there, but like that, I just can't not have humor or take myself too seriously, at least on stuff like this. And I think that if people can watch it and have a good time with that and enjoy the characters, you know, I think that is, you know, I'd like them to take away from that. You know, I like doing movies about heart, moral dilemma, anti-heroes who have some kind of moral dilemma. So as long as that comes through for them and they can enjoy that and they can put it in their collection, that's good for me. You know what I mean? I want people to enjoy it. So
yeah, it's a very enjoyable film. Bill, you have anything to add?
No, I think Josh summed the whole thing up.
Very, very good. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your insight. Honestly, I can geek out about this kind of stuff for a very, very long time, but I'm gonna let you get back to it. And maybe there's somebody else in line behind me. But Overrun, August 17th, available on all platforms, correct?
Yes, sir. All available on all platforms, and then eventually it'll have an SVOD release at some point. But at this point, it's available on all platforms.
Phenomenal. Thank you so much, and good luck. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you, well, both on your next project, because I know there's only bigger things to come.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for the time.
All right, take care.